Hello, Richard.
Hi,
Welcome.
how are you?
Yeah, looking forward to this, mate.
Okay. Jesus.
It's good. I've got a lot of questions that
Okay.
me as a trader I'd like to ask you as well.
Okay,
So,
sure.
having learning to trade for about 6 years, so it's a good opportunity for us to get through some things.
Okay.
So I'd love to start with your very beginning.
Well, my very beginning, I started trading in 2004. Okay, I got an IG account or something, ComSec. Don't know, can't remember what it was. Thought to myself, well, this is all I have to do is buy here, sell there. I make that difference. This is easy. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Right? Let's go. And no, it wasn't that easy. So there was a lot of running around in circles. There was a lot of strategy jumping. There was a lot of discovery. There was a lot of all of these sorts of things. Me losing, 30,000, then that goes up to 40,000, then it goes up to 50,000, and it goes up and up. And then you go, well, what is going on? Why isn't this as easy as I thought it would be?
Banging your head against the wall.
Getting depressed, throwing my mouse at the computer screen, getting angry, all those sorts of things, okay? Because unfortunately, it's not as easy as what some people may think it is, okay? Once you get it, it is. I've taken the years and the time to establish the process, to establish the right framework in which how we should be thinking to be able to be successful at trading, okay? Now, I read the books. I started writing this entire course, this entire program, the training manual and all of those things because I needed to teach myself how it works. Okay, so I just started doing it by writing down absolutely everything that I could possibly come across, and then I learned what accumulation distribution was. I learned how Wyckoff, all the steps to Wyckoff, okay, Dow theory, etc. Okay, I got myself my own mentors as well. One was in North Carolina who taught me how to trade the E-mini S&P. That was very exciting, especially over 2008, watching limit down go day after day after day of limit down.
Were you short?
I was not. I was actually flat, so I couldn't trade, right? But limit down simply meaning that this exchange will cut off after a certain percentage on the downside, right?
5%, isn't it?
Yeah, about that. So you can certainly buy, but you can't keep selling. But once it's limit down, you can't actually place a sell order.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, that was 2008. That was one of the mentors. The other one used to work at Chicago Board of Trade in Chicago. I took the components that they taught me as well. Kept developing myself by reading more and more and more books. So my book library is quite extensive. So every single book that I read, like for instance this one here, I read it, I make notes, I just pull everything that I need to pull out of it so that I can add it into my arsenal. Okay.
What's your favourite book on trading?
My favourite book is this one, Mind Over Markets.
So Mind Over Markets, who's
Mind
it by?
Over Markets. Now, this book, this is Dalton, right? If you're a beginner trader, don't start here, okay? This is quite complicated, okay? It is, but once you become an experienced trader, single thing this guy says makes absolute perfect sense. Okay? But Mind Over Markets, my other one is that book there, the Volume Profile TPOs. But, don't start on the difficult stuff. Let's start on the easy stuff and slowly build you up from there, because there is a lot of content in there, a lot of language that you need to learn and things like that, and we start building you up from there. Back to your question.
Yeah,
right?
there we go. Yeah.
Back to your question. So got my own mentors, got my own library, all of those sorts of things. Lots of practice of what works and what doesn't work, etc. What I did, I went and started off being a broker. Okay, so I went from I was trading on the side as well. Trading. So in 2010, I joined Alpha Equities and Futures Limited.
Where are they based?
They were based in Melbourne. Marcus Helsing and Michael Phelan, great guys. I ended up staying with them for about close to 10 years.
What was your role?
My role started off being a broker, but then because I was trading and reasonably successfully as well, I started a fund management. Okay, so it wasn't a fund; it was an MDA. okay, managed discretionary account.
Okay.
We had around about $8.5 million in that.
So that's just level below a fund. for
Yeah,
those that
level
don't
below
know.
a fund. It was
Yeah.
just a different type of product,
Yeah.
basically. So we were trading it. I ended up being a personal advisor, responsible manager. So, you know, I had all of the accreditations. I've still got all those accreditations, etc. Under an AFSL. Marcus Helsing was the compliance manager for it, etc. But in the end, Alpha Equities Futures wanted to sell their license to another group, and they didn't want to take me as a corporate authorised rep against it across with them. So I started Leapers Proprietary Trading, and from there we're now, you know, trading, still there, still doing it. Same sort of thing, but just under a little bit more of a different structure. Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of an MDA, I've turned it into a prop firm. Okay. And proprietary trading firm just means that we trade our own money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
When you're trading your own money, you don't need to be licensed. Okay. But now we want to take investors. We do take investors. We've got to get all of the correct licensing. So AFSL licensing, so that we can both train people and that we can trade capital from the investor side.
Yeah.
And you deal with a wide variety of people now, Leapers, don't we? We have people coming in as beginners. We have people coming in that want to manage funds themselves.
Correct. I mean, we've got a lot of different people across the board. Those people can, you know, from FIFO workers all the way through to some guys that are experienced, you know, just business people. A lot of different people have come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys like Jay, you know, he's
Jay,
already
he came from the industry.
managed a
See, that's the thing. Some people want to go from zero, right? They're completely green. They want to learn from like how to do this. Cool, that's available. But like Jay, he's come from the industry. He's already been a trader. You know, he wants to see my methods as well. He really loves them, but he just wants me to hold him accountable. You know, get him to show up every day. Okay, get him to take it more seriously. Those type of things.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing quite well, along with everybody else. But everybody may want to have a little bit of a different take. They can get all of it, or they can just take, you know, just me, the accountability side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it seems that even though Jay came for the accountability,
Yes.
he's adopting the
Yes,
strategies now
he
as
took
well.
over. He just took my strategies and goes, and now, you know, like what he said, out of the last 34 days, he's won 30 days of them, right?
But
which is crazy,
Yeah.
right? Which is
And-
very good.
You know, you hate to say it because, like, you know, you don't want people thinking that. I mean, because he was successful out the gate
Correct.
day one, but that's
Yeah,
not typical.
That's not
It's not
typical,
gonna happen.
correct. I mean, you know, he does have some, you know, a couple of runs on the board already, right, with his like mindset and things like that. So, you know, the reality is that it does take traders, or if you're coming in just fresh, or even just with a little bit of experience, it is going to start trading $500,000 accounts or $1 million accounts, that it will take a while.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not an overnight success. It's not, you know, you'll get it. A lot of, like, there are some guys like Jackson who came in, he was basically 3 weeks in and he's killing it now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody's different. Everybody's got different personalities. Everybody's got a different level of acumen, and they'll take their different personality types, a different lifestyle that they've got. You might have a job, kids, you know, whatever it might be. So everybody goes at their own pace. Yeah.
So, at this point in your career, I mean, I know you're trading pretty decent size, and you have been for quite a while. You've been consistent at this level. You've obviously developed in this industry. You know all the big players in the industry. So my point is, how do you stay relatable to the beginner? Obviously, having Leapers and having an obligation to.
That's a great question. It's just my personality.
Yeah.
Right. I'm happy to teach people how to trade if they want to do it. You know, I know how hard it is when you don't have somebody with you. Right. I've been there. Right. I've been in the trenches. Right.
Even though it was that long ago, you
Even
still
though it was
find-
that, I felt, and I wish to God I had myself back then. Right. I wish I had this back when I started, because I would have saved myself so much time.
Yeah.
Right. And so much money, losing money on the market. Right. And I know the pain that a lot of people are going through, and I genuinely care about it, because it's, you know, when it's not working, because it is a reasonably complicated thing. Now, I'm not talking about the level of academia, right? But it's complicated in that, you know, you need to be shown the right process, the right ropes from the get-go.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
So you don't develop bad habits. You're not wasting your time in discovery mode all the time. You're not strategy jumping, and you're certainly looking after yourself personally, right?
Yeah.
In that you're not on this roller coaster of emotions all the time, right? My job ultimately is to keep you solid all the way through, and hopefully one day, when you're good, that you'll not only be able to be profitable for yourself, then we'll be able to allocate you, right? Now, we're not one of those, I'm kind of digressing a little bit. We've got to make sure that this is extremely clear to everybody, okay? Is that we're not an online prop firm, okay? We're not an FTMO. We're not Top Step.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is these online prop firms are putting.
We can call them, they're evaluation firms.
They're evaluation firms.
They're
okay?
not prop firms.
But this is you've got to pay money to get an evaluation. Then maybe you might get access to X amount of money.
Demo
right?
money.
Demo money. But
Couple of
it's
grand,
always demo money.
Always.
Money is not actually. It's never real money. Okay. These guys know that you're going to lose. They know it, right?
That's their
Because
business model.
That's the
How they
business
make
model,
money.
right? They know you're going to lose because they're dangling a carrot in front of your face with, the ability to trade $200,000. Now, some people can do it. Majority won't.
Well, they'll do
okay?
it for 1 month and
They'll do
blow
it for 1 month and blow it up, okay? Or the prop firm, these online prop firms will put an upper and a lower limit.
Yeah.
So the limit in which you've got to work in is nearly impossible to actually successfully long term
Yeah.
live in that zone all the time, right? But what we're the traditional prop firm like SMB Capital out of the United States, out in New York. They do stocks and whatnot, but we're more derivative side on CFDs, on indexes, etc. But we use real money. We're not just handing out money to anybody. You've got to get up here, and then we start looking at you, right? But the only way to get up here is to go through those stages. Now, if somebody comes in and starts trading with us green, that could take 2-3 years to get you up there, right? Now, if you show up and you do all the work, you come to all of the events and you really get into it, right? You're definitely going to get profitable for yourself. Okay. Now, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it's highly likely you'll be profitable for yourself. And then if you're exceptional, then we'll allocate you. Okay.
I think for, I guess, the newer people that are watching, if, that they're wondering about what a prop firm is, a valuation firm, the thing to keep in mind about the trading as a business is that there are a lot of opportunities and directions you can take once you've got the skill set.
Correct.
Like, that, of course, you've said many times that a lot of people will learn the strategies and end up trading their own capital. They don't necessarily need the funding, but trading opens a lot of doors. If you've got the skill set, you can get investors, you can go to evaluation firms if you want to, but if you've got the skill, you can take that pathway. But you can also...
You're saying about the person who's learned off me, they can get their own investors?
I'm saying if you've got that skill as a trader...
let me just correct you there. You can't do that. It's illegal to take investor money without proper licensing.
Well, there you go.
You cannot do it.
But through a prop firm, I'm saying...
Through a prop firm, you can.
Through a
properly licensed.
That's right. But that's one of the pathways of opportunity, right? So they can either go through a prop firm, get further investment, or if they decide to be just trading from home...
On their own, yes.
They can do that as well, which, you've mentioned...
Look, the freedom with this is, everybody's looking for freedom, right? But freedom doesn't come without a little bit of pain at the start. So the more work you put in at the start, the less work you have to put in at the end, vice versa, okay?
I think the pop culture term for that is delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification, right. When you do become good and you've got a really good understanding, you can work for 1 to 2 hours a day and then that's it. The rest of the day is empty.
And that's
right?
what your days look like at the moment.
That's what my days look like. I work for about an hour and a half a day. That's it. That's all I do, okay?
Which fortunately allows you the time to be able to coach.
It gives me the time during the day to help other people out, right?
Yeah, run the business.
And run the business and, get some new investors, go to long lunches, things like that, okay? Which is what we're going to do after this is go on a long lunch, right? Okay? It does give you that ability to be a lot freer. Caveat on that, or disclaimer, is that the road to get there is going to be a reasonably tough one, right? And that's the reality of it. Okay,
Yeah.
you're going to go through a roller coaster ride of emotions. You're going to have to go through a learning curve, a big one, right? But like I said, I trade every day regardless of who's in the live room or not. I'm still going to be there doing it, right? It's up to them, up to you, the person who's coming in to do the training, to show up.
And I guess, like, for the people listening that have achieved any sort of success in their life, whether it's business or sport, it's the exact same thing. You know, they would have gone through that same road of challenges along the journey. And, you know,
it's like you look at Collingwood on the top of the ladder at the moment, but we didn't all stand there watching them pre-season, did we? Right? Well, we're at the beach getting a suntan. They're all running around a track with a 50-kilo weight on them, right? You've got to remember that Usain Bolt just isn't. He is partly natural, right? But you don't see him. You don't see the parts where he's getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and starting his training, right? Every day, yeah. So it's the same sort of thing. Get up in the, do the hard work at the start, then you become the hero.
I'm saying you have to get up at 3 a.m. for anyone listening.
Luckily, the London session.
Unless you want to trade the New York session.
Yeah, London
New York
session.
close.
The New York close.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is I've put this together, and we mainly trade the DAX, so that's our day trading bread and butter.
Yeah.
So that
And the
because we
DAX
are on the
is
eastern, the DAX is a German index, which is made up of 40 constituents. The good thing about it is it starts at our winter time on the Australian Eastern Standard Time. Starts at 5 p.m.
And
so you can go to work, come home and trade.
And that's the main reason why
That's
we trade
the main
it.
reason.
We don't care that it's in Germany. We just care that it's
we care that not the timing is
It's
good,
the timing.
but also the volume that goes through it is good. It reacts very well technically.
Yeah.
Okay, and it took me years to find that. Right?
From my understanding, a lot of the top European institutional funds and traders will trade the DAX.
Correct. Correct. Now, if your traders do want to trade the Nikkei or the 225 or the HK50, whatever it might be, during the Asian session, go ahead. No problem. We can translate a lot of what you're learning into other markets. There's other traders that want to trade gold and swing trade FX. So part of the program is to teach swing trading, which is a lot slower. Longer term. Now, some of the younger guys who want to stay up all night, they can go into the US session, trade YM or NQ, right, which is the NASDAQ or the Dow Jones. If you've got a market, you trade it. But my advice to everybody, especially on the day trading side, is pick one or two markets to trade and become an expert in them, right? What you don't want to be doing is being a cockpit pilot, with everything going on around you. What's this doing? What's that doing? What's oil? What's FX? Blah, blah, blah.
100%.
Because you've got to understand the personality of that market,
100%.
okay? Each market has a, difference in volumes. Session timing is very important as well. Knowing what the participants are doing, know what the big traders are doing within that market as well. Watching your candles move or even your depth of market move, so that you can see where this is going to pop now, right? Pull, bam, I'm on it. Okay, but if you've got too many things going on at once, you'll miss all of those tiny little nuances. Okay, now when you trade, let's say you're trading the DAX, you can just trade the DAX alone and make enough money out of just that. Right, you don't have to trade everything on the
And that's
the
a
planet.
misconception.
Where you got your fingers in all the pies around you, and it's going to, something's going to work, right?
Yeah.
You can. There's plenty of money out there, right?
Put your blinkers on.
Billions and billions of trillions of dollars. Leave all those other markets to all the other traders that want to trade them.
Yeah.
They can have that money. Let's just become an expert in one or maybe two. Maximum two, day trading I'm talking about. Now, if you're swing trading FX or swing trading, stick to the majors. You don't really need to go anything beyond that, okay, from the majors.
Yeah.
On a cross-currency, you're still trading the major that's behind it. You're still trading the US dollar that's in behind it, okay?
Correct.
So just be aware that you've got to just focus on one or two markets. I think is the best thing.
I know you've tried it all in terms of technicals, right?
Everything.
You've tried absolutely
I've
everything.
been there,
So
everything.
tell me, right?
Don't use oscillators.
I was going to ask, is there some strategies or some indicators that are better than others?
I mean, for day trading, you must have your VWAP.
It's a must.
Must. Absolute must. Especially on indexes or
Unless you're
stocks.
staring at the computer like a hawk.
Well,
just-
the thing is you need the VWAP there because everybody else on the planet is looking at it. Now, the idea about trading is, unfortunately, to be popular, right? Be on the popular side.
Is that right?
Because the popular side, or the one with the most volume, is going to move it, isn't it? Right? So, you know, as my parents probably said, oh, don't worry, you don't have to be popular to be special, right? In this game, yes, you have to be popular to be on the right side of the market. And everybody, if you're looking at what everybody else is looking at and understand it the same way that everybody else is looking at it, then you're going to have a high probability of success.
It's a
Now,
self-fulfilling
if you're trying to trade something that is like fringe, bespoke, right? Nobody else is going to be looking at it. So you're just going to get wiped out straight away. So we want to know where all the big levels are. We want to know where all the support resistance, handles, VWAP, what's the volume nose, where's the supply demand, are we going from balance to imbalance, all of those type of things, so that we are understanding what the big instos are doing and everybody else, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've definitely heard other people online say, you know, oh, you can make any strategy work. But
No, you
technically,
can't.
no.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely not true.
It's not true.
Now, here, this is the other point which will trip people up. You can have a strategy, and if you don't have the ability, or that strategy cannot adapt to market environment, you're going to get caught. Okay, a professional will adapt to market environment. An amateur will stick to one strategy and just watch them burn their own account. Okay, and they just blindly just keep going, and they haven't adapted. Right. So you can have the same strategy, but how do you treat it in a open auction environment? How do you treat it in a top of the trend consolidation or distribution accumulation phase? Or how does that same one behave in a trending market? Okay, so you've got to firstly understand where you are at that point in time and trade it accordingly.
So quite a lot of questions one would have to ask themselves. How does someone process that in real time in a day trading environment?
But practice. Come and listen to me do it. Have your part of the program is for you to write out, you know, the process of your filter list, you know, what you should be remembering, what you should be thinking about. If you do that over and over and over again, it will just naturally come. It's like when in the Matrix, Neo jumps over the building, everyone falls the first time, right?
Yes.
By the end of the movie, you can see the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's where we want you to be, so you can just see what's going on.
So you
And it's
don't,
just clear as crystal. Right?
you don't necessarily feel like overwhelmed every
I
session.
never
like
feel
your
overwhelmed.
brain's
I know
on
exactly
fire
what's
thinking
going.
about everything.
So, you know, like I just naturally run a syntax of everything I should be, and it just keeps looping around and
Repetition.
around and around.
Yeah.
And so that gives me the ability to change my opinion or as the market develops, right?
So even though it might sound overwhelming at first, it is learnable.
It
And
is learnable.
It's learnable.
It is. It's like
yeah.
anything, though. You know, like
You don't need to be a genius, though.
you don't have to be a
because,
genius. You
even
just
for
got to
me-
learn the language and learn the
Yeah.
framework in which you've got to operate.
Okay, cool.
It will seem overwhelming at the start, but just the more you expose yourself to it, the more you just get used to it.
Yeah, don't be intimidated. Just
Correct.
be prepared
Well, it's
to
like,
learn.
you know, when you learn a new recipe and when you're cooking, right? You watch a chef do it, like a, you know, Michelin star chef. It looks, holy, how did you do that? Well, here's how you do it. You're going to screw it up the first time, right?
Yeah.
But if you practice and practice and practice the same dish over and over and over again, you can
Get
make it
it.
look Michelin star.
That's right.
Yes?
Absolutely.
100%.
Should we talk a little bit about Lepus?
Yes.
Yeah.
What about it?
What are we doing with it?
Well, Lepus proprietary trading, you know, a lot of people ask me, like, why don't you just trade on your own? Yeah, I can, and I do. Okay. But the idea of what we're trying to do here is to build a traditional prop firm, like a real prop firm, with a group of high highly talented traders, okay, so that we can, have a group environment because there's a lot more success with us when we all work in a group environment, right? So we can bounce all the ideas. We can talk. We talk our own language. We confident. We're always patting each other on the back and all those sorts of things about doing the right thing. Okay, even if it's a lost trade, it's still the correct one, right? But Lepus Proprietary Trading, we've got group of traders, we've got investors, we've got our own money. We're building that up to become a great company in this derivative space.
Yeah.
So when people come on board the mentorship, obviously these are proprietary these techniques that you've developed over your years. Obviously you've put your life's work into there. Do you hold some of your cards close to your chest, or do you teach everything?
Out. Everything's on the table.
Why would you do that?
Well, I've got nothing to lose, right?
You don't think that the more people that do your strategy, it will eventually water it down?
The market is way too big for that. Way too big.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're in Australia with 26 million people, right? Australia is tiny, okay? Our market is tiny. There's people trading all over the place that don't use my strategy, okay? Big banks and instos, they've got their own thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I care about people learning my strategy? Well, my strategy is already out there, right? I've just refined it so much that, I put it together so people can understand it. Okay, instead of trying to work it out themselves. What is it like? Let's say it's an accumulation phase, right? All traders know top end traders know what accumulation means, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said before, VWAP, retest on VWAP. Okay. I encourage everybody right now, go put VWAP on your chart. Look at the 5-minute chart right now, and see how many times it gets hit, and bounces straight off it. Right, and if it penetrates it, it'll push back. It'll do a retest into the VWAP. Happens every day, right? There's a lot more components to go together on that. Okay, and this is kind of the trap where, we'll just trade one thing, right? What we want to do is we want to have a broad understanding of everything that's going on. But my job is to put it all together for you. So that you understand it. And then also what my other job is to manage your behavior so that you can deal with, so you've got the right framework and you can deal with trading large amounts of money in large size, okay? So ultimately on the DAX index, we want you to be trading 50 to 100 lots at a time, okay? That's when you start making some serious cash.
I think one of the other reasons, just addressing what Aidan said about why would you teach, people your proprietary strategy, it's no secret we've got the prop firm and the goal is to be able to fund as many traders as we can.
Great
right?
traders, correct.
And, in order to get them to that level, it's your job to teach them and share those secrets.
Correct.
So they can get themselves to a high level. It's a vested interest in their success.
There's no reason for me to hold all my, I don't have, there's no such thing as a holy grail in this game, right? The holy grail, so to speak, is to have a framework of how to behave, right? A lot of traders don't have that.
Yeah. And I say to people all the time, I'm like, we have a vested interest in you actually succeeding.
Correct.
And that's the main difference between...
One thing I say to everybody who comes to me fresh, right, is that we're not an education company. No. I don't see myself as an education company. I see myself as a prop firm first who trains traders to come and work for us. Does everybody make it? No. Right? If you've got the drive and you show up all the time, you will become profitable for yourself. But then we take the best of the best. Yeah. Okay, that's the honest truth, right? We don't take every single person, right? Yeah. But you will be able to do it for yourself. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. You'll have the best chance in the quickest amount of time to understand and decipher the markets.
So, what about the difference between a course and a mentorship? Because it's difficult for me to sort of articulate, because I know if it was just a course, you wouldn't have experienced traders that have come from hedge funds that have been able to get value out of what you do, because they would never get value out of just a course, right? It's the mentorship that they get out of it, the traineeship.
Yes,
So,
I mean, I'm not here to. I mean, we've got all the material there, but typically, I'm not here to teach you what a Fibonacci is. Right? Ultimately, you can go find that on the internet yourself
YouTube.
pretty easily. Plenty of guys out there that will teach you what an RSI and a MACD is. Right? You don't need me for that. Go read some books yourself. Right? What I'm here to do is to put it all together. Okay, shortcut your amount of time that you're going to waste. Right? And coach you so that you're at a peak performance level. Okay, there's 5 faculties to trading. One is sentiment, which is more long-term sentiment. Okay. Second one is technical analysis. Everybody pays way too much attention to that. They think that's the be-all and end-all. Right? It is a component, and we have to know it, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Volume profiling, all the understanding volume is important. Understanding macroeconomics and fundamental analysis. Okay. And the biggest one, 80% of the successful traders will be good at psychology and behavior, mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. Because 100% of traders that I've taught, the first time they've been exposed to large amounts of money,
Boom.
all fall flat on their face. Okay. Now, my job ultimately is to be your coach, like Djokovic has a coach. Okay. To keep him centered, calm, process driven, and see the things that you can't see yourself because you're completely naive. So third-party analysis on you, okay? And because I've got that interest, if you're getting there, I want you to trade for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I want you, right? So I'm going to put everything into you. But yeah, you've got to go through the basics first, and then we get to the next stage, right?
Yeah.
Like people get funny when it comes to talking about money, right? But it's like if you make money, we make money. That's
We all
the business.
make
Yeah,
money.
we all make money together,
Yeah,
and that's the goal. right?
correct. Well, that's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got guys that come in just for the mentorships for themselves. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right? I don't have a gun to your head and holding you hostage with this stuff, right? You can take it for what you want out of it, right? But ultimately, that's what I want. I want guys to come, like high level guys, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we've already got them already,
have,
but I
yeah.
want more.
Yeah.
Okay, we're trying to build a floor here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The trading floor.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can take people from understanding the technicals and those first fundamental aspects of trading, and then also coaching them through to the high level of success.
The high level that's required to be able to trade large accounts and large size.
And that, I think, for what people can understand, you can't learn that in a video.
You can't learn it in a video. You can't learn it unless you've got somebody standing right over
It's
your
the
shoulder.
implementation of the theory.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, when we do the nightly sessions, I get to know who you are, right? When you do the trade, we do our trader development sessions on a weekend,
Yeah.
I learn who you are.
Talk us through the nightly sessions. What, like from a trader's point of view, if they're looking at the screen, what does it look like?
Well, they'll be watching my screen, and whatever's going on inside my head comes out my mouth.
Okay.
Right?
So they can hear you and they can see what you're
They can hear
trading.
me. They can see my charts. I'll call out the levels. I'll call out, if it's trending, I'll tell you not to stand in front of it. Okay. If it's high volatility, I'll tell you what you should be thinking at each stage.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
As the market develops, let's say that we're in a tight range or an open auction of some sort for the first hour, then go, guys, just this is what we're looking at. We'd sell the tops, buy the bottoms, and wait for the breakout. And until that breakout happens, don't do anything. Okay, so I'm telling whatever's going on inside my head is coming out my mouth, right?
And people can ask questions on them.
They can open their microphone and ask questions, or they can type in a question.
That's massive. Yeah. They can do that.
In
Yeah.
real
Everybody's got. It's like we're in a trading floor,
Yeah.
but it's on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's just the modern day we live in.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We don't. The thing is like back in the 90s, you needed a trading floor with.
You did.
Yeah.
It's like in the movies.
This huge floor with all the computers and all those sorts of things. But today you don't need it, right?
Yeah.
We've got the internet. You can do it from home. But when you do it, you need to have the door closed. You can't have the kids running at your feet. You can't be getting up looking in the fridge, right? But take it seriously, okay? And it's only for an hour and a half a day, okay? And then once we finish that, the hour and a half of me talking and doing the first open session, then we go over into the chat. We'll keep trading throughout the night, okay?
Yeah.
But the next thing is the trader development sessions, which are actually getting really popular at the moment.
I've seen them.
That, on a weekend, we'll sit down for an hour, 2 hours, and we'll discuss what we need to discuss for that day.
Yeah.
Okay. Traditionally in a prop firm, everybody would do their morning session, and then in the afternoon, everybody would be in the boardroom talking about the next day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar type of idea,
Yeah.
where we sometimes will take a trader and we'll go through their journal, and we'll go, this is what's right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, whatever it might be, and we'll just look at their trades.
Yeah.
What did they look at? How did they establish their idea? What their filter list looks like, etc. And some other times we'll just have just a discussion, just openly discuss, psychology, what went wrong, if somebody's, if it's not working for somebody, what can we do to improve that?
Great.
Okay,
Really
so that
good.
everybody can just listen in on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty popular, and then we've got the one-on-ones if we're
And,
getting up to that stage.
You have an office in the city as well.
I've got the office in the city where you can either come in, sit next to me, or we can do it over the internet.
And where's the office? It's on
It's 349 Collins
Collins
Street.
Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's Monday the 16th of June. We had an event on Saturday.
Yes.
How'd that go? That was
Well, I was happy. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think? You were there.
it was good. It was good. Yeah. But how do you think it went?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
The idea of that event was, the content was already in the course, but it's just the repetition, right?
Right.
There's a lot of tiny nuances or situations that we can always talk about, that pop up, and it's always good for everybody to get reminded of that. But I think this one, we had about 65 people or something in the room.
65 people.
They're all traders. They all got to meet all the other traders. And it's like, they're real people.
It was
right?
amazing.
It was pretty good, right? So they all got
loved
to
it.
see, instead of sitting in their home office thinking that they're the only one on the planet doing this, right? Trading is quite big, right? There's a lot of people out there doing it. It's always good to have, instead of talking to your mates who have no idea what you're talking about, right? If I spoke to my mate, right, it's talking about VWAP or whatever it might be, head and shoulders, double top, whatever it might be, he's going, they're just cross-eyed at you, right?
Yeah,
but if you've got a whole bunch of guys that are in the same room, women, men, mainly men, but because it's mostly a male-dominated industry. It's not that women are not welcome; they're just, most of them are not interested in it. But we've got a handful of women in there as well who are doing pretty well.
A couple of young women as well that are starting to come through.
Ones. You all get to meet each other, right? You get to talk. You get to hear each other's story and see that it's actually a physical and real thing.
Yeah.
There's people behind it. Yeah.
And it's like it's crazy because for people that are maybe on the fence about trading in general, or maybe even picking a mentor, it's hard to even put into words the value of.
Well, what I would say to anybody who's like trying to research it is look for something that's complete, right, all the way through. Because if you just read a book, you're not going to get there, right? It is a bit more of a rabbit hole than you think it is, and there's a lot of components in it that if you don't have that support of putting the whole show together, then you're going to be wasting your time.
Yeah.
Right.
And like a bit more on the mindset side of getting started, because the thing is we obviously can't start coaching them until they at least approach us, and then you can coach them with the trading side. But how about the mindset of actually, I guess, starting trading? Because out of all the students that you have that are successful, that are doing really well with trading, which is a lot of them, none of them got there by just having one foot in and one foot out. They both they had to decide to
you've
really
got to be all in on this, or just don't do it.
really believe in yourself to do it.
But all in doesn't necessarily mean quit your job and go all in,
No,
does
that's
it?
not what I'm saying. Never quit your job. No.
But invest in yourself,
Invest in yourself, right? and because, you know, if you want to do this and be successful at it, it's like anything, right? If you want to be the top dog in the room, you've got to be the best at it, okay? And the only way to get the best at it is to show up, is to do the work, do all the training, come along to every single event, okay? And practice every night with me in the live, right? Now, we all understand that, you know, we've got families and, you know, we've got jobs and things get in the way. And, you know, I get it. You don't have to come to every single one, and you may not, but we're always here for that, right? We're always here. We're always doing it. So, you know, the ball's mostly in your court to get yourself to the place that you want to get to.
Put both feet in.
Both feet in,
commit.
Jump in the deep end and go.
So don't worry about being perfect or having
You'll never
the
get
perfect opportunity
I'll
to start.
tell you this now, right? I still make mistakes today, right? But, you know, they're few and far between, right? So nothing's ever
Everyone
perfect.
makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Even CEO, you know, of big companies like Google, they always make mistakes.
Correct, right? But, you know, the idea is for me to teach you how to make less of them, right? And understand the environment that you're in.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, if you do it solo, you become roadkill.
Correct.
Yeah. I suppose Jake would love to get your perspective, obviously being the trading manager and speaking to a lot of people on that just continuing that conversation of people that are actually starting out with trading. What do you think holds people back from actually believing in themselves enough to put both feet in and really give this a proper try with a mentor the right way, rather than sitting in their room and saying, I'm giving this a go, but I'm just going to do it on my own? But that's, of course, not the right way to do it. You got to do things not just effort-wise, but doing it the right way, being confident enough to do it the right way, which does mean investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't have to be with us, but has to be with someone that, like Richard was saying, a complete system. But what do you think really holds people back from really doing that?
I think there's a lot of people out there that know they need a mentor. I think we're past the stage where people think that they can, you know, really do it alone. It's a small minority. It's 10 to 20%. I think the big thing is people not knowing which mentor to go with. And there's a lot of mentors out there. But, you know, not here to trash on any other mentors. I think Richard's obviously the best in Australia when it comes to this thing. But the reality is a lot of mentors are, you know, regurgitating courses that they've done in the past on YouTube, and they don't have that institutional background experience that Richard does. So I think, you know, just painting the picture of Richard's experience and showing them the pathway that's going to be in front of them, it definitely helps them make that decision. But look, you know, Richard, he's the best in Australia when it comes to this thing, and you know, we're seeing some really good results with a lot of the new traders that are starting, and they're performing really quickly. Like Richard said, there's a guy called Jackson just came on board only about 4 weeks ago, maybe even less, and he's already posting in the community wins constantly.
Yeah,
you know, we had Jay in here before. He's only been on for 3 months. You know, he's got a background in you know, in trading. He's had a break for a few years, but he's come back, and you know, he's a guy who's been trading at the top level for, you know, quite a while, and he still says Richard's, you know, thinks you're God.
Not that much.
So it's you know, I think at the end of the day, you just got to find, if you really want to make it as a trader, and you want to do this properly, which a lot of people do, you've just got to make the decision to commit, and you've got to find someone who's got the reputation and he's been down that path before. And you know, I can personally speak from experience. I've had multiple mentors before I obviously came past Richard, and yeah, you can definitely see the difference, and you know, between them and the way Richard approaches things.
Cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.